Today I'm indulging my passion for Marvel movies, starting with The Winter Soldier. In the 8 years since this film was released, I've noticed a disturbing trend. People don't seem to think that The Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie, or even in the top 5? I mean, look at this Wired UK article. It's maybe the worst ranking of Marvel movies of all time. I mean, it starts off well, but wait, is that Doctor Strange at 19th? Captain Marvel at 7th? Guardians of the Galaxy at number 1? Wait a second, where's The Winter Soldier? 12th? What the
Language!
This is an absolute travesty of a list, and there's some wrongs that need to be righted. Starting with The Winter Soldier. I mean, The Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie ever made, hands down, and I really didn't think it was that much of a discussion, but since the internet apparently doesn't want to give this movie the credit it deserves, I guess I've got to do it myself. The Winter Soldier is Marvel's Michael Jordan for 4 simple reasons: character development, plot, cinematography, and action. And while Endgame's plot may be more lavish and Ragnarok's character arcs more extreme, no MCU film to date puts it all together like The Winter Soldier. First, The Winter Soldier is one of the few MCU films that shine regardless of the Marvel brand. At its most basic, The Winter Soldier tells the story of a disenfranchised soldier who starts questioning the orders he receives. When his commander is mysteriously killed, he investigates his own army, uncovering a conspiracy that goes much deeper than he previously imagined. I mean, come on. Anybody would go see that movie even without Captain America on the poster. But not only is the plot interesting, it is also well-paced and has surprising emotional depth. The pacing of this film is excellent. Despite the film being action-heavy, the Russo brothers take time to slow down, fleshing out characters we've previously met, as well as introducing new ones. Every character in The Winter Soldier is given time to breathe and deliver breathtaking performances. From opening with a classic, almost Rocky-esque running montage, to ending with a dialogue scene that sends Cap and Nat onto the next phase of their journeys, The Winter Soldier not only gives us the edge-of-your-seat action we've come to expect from the Marvel flicks, it also gives you a well-balanced story with surprising emotional depth. The Russos make a statement about the power of friendship and how it can lead to redemption. It's no accident this film is called Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Cap and Bucky are two sides of the same coin, killers, yet both find redemption through friendship. For Cap, this comes in the form of Sam, a former soldier who, like him, lost faith in his commanders, pushing him to take his life into his own hands. For Bucky, his past friendship with Steve ultimately breaks the conditioning that has been holding him hostage for so long. This idea of characters playing two sides of the same coin goes far beyond Steve and Bucky. In fact, most of the main cast are paired up this way. Nick Fury and director Pierce, Sam Wilson and Rumlow, Natasha Romanoff and Jasper Sitwell all play against each other in a way that keeps the film well balanced, providing tension throughout each act without ever feeling contrived. Another great film that uses this technique is The Dark Knight, directed by Christopher Nolan. Lessons from the Screenplay has a great analysis on why Heath Ledger's Joker is such a well-written antagonist. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it, and it'll be linked down below. One of the core concepts Michael talks about in his video is having the protagonist and antagonist compete for the same goal. The Russo brothers do this with each of their character pairings. Fury and Pierce both vie for control of S.H.I.E.L.D., Sam and Rumlow and Nat and Sitwell both need to see their side's plans fulfilled, forcing our secondary characters to face off throughout the film. Cap and Bucky are forced into constant conflict as they each battle to eliminate the other. It is in the outcome of this battle where the film strikes an emotional chord, as they fight to decide which is stronger, hatred or friendship. Looking beyond the film's main theme, we find a plot driven by an astute political narrative illustrating the threat corruption poses to government. In a world where political opinions are formed in online echo chambers unburdened by facts, a world where the actions of those in power are more obfuscated than ever, America is closer to the young adult dystopian novels than anyone would like to admit. The Winter Soldier delves straight into the heart of the problem: corruption. S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra, two groups with opposing beliefs operating within the same organization, act as powerful metaphors for the American political system. A system that stands fundamentally divided and becomes more so each day. Watching Steve Rogers, a man with near-perfect moral code, try to do what is right within this system, and come to the conclusion that it has all got to burn, is a powerful message to citizens to not stand for the rampant corruption in their governments.
Shield, Hydra, it all goes.
The Winter Soldier makes a statement. If the government has to burn in order to eliminate corruption, so be it. Despite the story being driven by men in spandex tights, the film loses none of its emotional weight, subtly delivering a powerful message about corruption, redemption, and the power of friendship.
Looks like you're giving the orders now, Captain.
But a plot alone does not a great movie make. That comes from the characters themselves. The Russo brothers faced a difficult challenge, keeping Cap from becoming square. While Steve's perfect moral compass worked for the first Avenger, a second movie of holier-than-thou moral excellence would have been repetitive and made Steve seem like a one-dimensional character who no one liked. The Russo brothers sidestepped this immediately by showing us a new, grittier Cap, establishing the Winter Soldier as nothing like Steve's first outing. The film then builds on this by throwing everything in the kitchen sink at Steve's moral compass. First, he wrestles with himself, wondering if he is truly helping the world by working for S.H.I.E.L.D.
For as long as I can remember, I just wanted to do what was right. I guess I'm not quite sure what that is anymore. And I thought I could throw myself back in and follow orders, serve. It's just not the same.
In his first installment, Cap faced a distinct enemy, the Nazis and Hydra. There was a line in the sand between good and evil, with S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra standing opposed. The Winter Soldier, however, shoves Steve squarely into a moral gray area. He no longer faces a unified evil threat. He lives mission to mission, never knowing who he will have to take out next. This forces Steve into a moral dilemma as he attempts to live with himself while never truly knowing if he's using his powers for good. Over the course of the film, he rediscovers his moral code, coming to the conclusion that he can no longer trust the orders of others. Ultimately, he gives up the fight, deciding to sacrifice himself rather than fight his friend.
I'm not gonna fight you. You're my friend.
Despite Sam's warning that,
I don't think he's the kind you save. He's the kind you stop.
and knowing that he could stop Bucky for good, Steve decides that not fighting Bucky is worth more to him than any mission ever will. So much so that he gives up the mission and his life entirely. I think this is the moment that Steve truly ceases to be Captain America. He realizes he can no longer do others' bidding, that he must follow his own compass and find his own strength. This shift in character perfectly sets up Civil War, and eventually the entire Infinity Saga. On the opposite side of the coin, we have Bucky. While his character arc may be short in this film, it is powerful. Instead of a simple good guy gone rogue, we get a complex, traumatized antagonist, one who questions their orders yet can't escape them. The Russo brothers managed to not only create a complete menace, but one the audience can empathize with and want to see redeemed. Add in Cap breaking Bucky's Hydra conditioning for a moment, and the Winter Soldier gives us a glimpse of Bucky's incredible character arc to come. The Russo brothers also take time to flesh out Natasha Romanoff, exploring her dilemma as a character who lives and breathes a moral gray area. The Avengers established that she thought she had gone good by joining S.H.I.E.L.D. Nat even repeats this in the movie, stating,
"When I first joined S.H.I.E.L.D., I thought I was going straight. But I guess I just traded in the KGB for Hydra."
A primary facet of Natasha's character throughout the previous films has been her immense guilt at the things she's done. In the Avengers, she talks extensively about removing red from her ledger. The Winter Soldier shows us that because of her guilt, she doesn't truly take responsibility for her own actions. She views herself as a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent or a KGB agent, but never as an individual. Over the course of this film, she begins to find her true self, making her own decisions rather than simply following the orders of whatever agency she happens to be working for at the time. I think the moment that really hammered this home for me is when she's talking to Steve in Sam's bedroom. It's the perfect shift for her character arc for the entire MCU. From her interrogation of Loki in the Avengers, to her moment with Steve here, all the way to her sacrifice on Vormir, she grows and evolves. And like Steve, she ceases to be Black Widow, embracing herself and her flaws, allowing her to grow as a character and person. Without this change in the Winter Soldier, we might have never seen one of the most impactful and emotional scenes in Marvel history. Or even worse, we might not have cared. The Winter Soldier's character development shines in a genre of movies known for one-dimensional, stationary characters. By the end of the film, each character is set on a new path. Cap starts truly becoming Steve Rogers for the first time since he took the super serum. Bucky ceases being the Winter Soldier, if only for a moment, slowly starting to rediscover himself in the process. Natasha's time as the Black Widow ends as she truly embraces being herself. Not a KGB or a SHIELD agent, simply Natasha Romanoff. Moving away from the characters, let's talk about cinematography. The Winter Soldier is a visually beautiful film, shot by Trent Opaloch. Opaloch? I'm so sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. Either way, this guy's a genius, and the dialogue scenes truly shine. The way each shot is framed allow the actors to carry out exquisite performances. Even the VFX are framed beautifully, showcasing the absolute artistry CGI can bring to a film. From Fury pushing Cap out of center frame, Bucky's introduction as the Winter Soldier, the Insight ships destroying each other, and Cap's fall into the river, this is a stunning film. And while the cinematography of the combat scenes can be formulaic at times, it doesn't detract from the film, and the handheld style of shooting keeps us close to the characters, making us, the audience, feel like a part of the action. While critics claim that the color grading of the Winter Soldier is bland, I'd argue that it was an intentional choice to make the story feel more grounded in reality. As evidenced by Avengers Endgame, the Russo brothers certainly aren't afraid of saturated, otherworldly tones, but the muted, realistic colors of the Winter Soldier serve the story better, helping the film feel more grounded and realistic. Okay, moving on to the fun stuff. The Winter Soldier is an action flick after all, and it does not disappoint. The action in The Winter Soldier is off the charts incredible. I mean, in a universe where we have flying monsters, 9-foot purple aliens, invincible androids, and spaceships, The Winter Soldier still rises above the rest, with only some superhuman punches and a metal arm. If you told me 10 years ago that the Battle of New York in the Avengers would be upstaged by two 70-year-olds throwing punches, I would have never believed you, but you would have been right. The Winter Soldier's action shines right out of the gate. Watching Captain America and his strike team take out a boat of pirates with deadly, superhuman precision is a joy to watch. Add to that Nick Fury's fight against Hydra on the streets of DC, Bucky catching Cap's shield, and 3 helicarriers going absolutely ballistic on one another, the Winter Soldier's action is top-notch. How many other films have done an 11-guy fight scene in an elevator?
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
An elevator! The elevator scene alone is one of the best action sequences in the MCU. And hey look, it's Guy.
Sleeping on Bubba's leg.
But the overpass scene completely blows the rest out of the water. I'd go so far as to say it's the best combat scene in the MCU to date. It's not even close for me. The overpass scene gives us the best character-driven fight choreography we've seen from the MCU ever. If you've seen my Mission Impossible Fallout breakdown, you know why this is so important. And if not, click the card in the top right corner and give it a watch and come right back. It'll also be linked in the description below. And while you're down there, consider giving this video a like if you enjoy the content. Alright, shameless self-promotion aside, the fight choreography. I mean, are you kidding me? If you don't think this is the best fight choreography we've gotten from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you are, respectfully, blind as a bat. The fear in Natasha's eyes as she is chased by Bucky, the hand-to-hand combat between Cap and Bucky in the middle of the street, the excellent use of assorted weapons, and how each character respects their power. Sam showing he's not one to be written off in a fight. I mean, this scene has got it all. It's grounded, realistic, and just plain cool. A quick note before I go. I didn't want to make this video. From scope creep to feelings of imposter syndrome, I felt that this video was too large, too drawn out, and not entertaining enough to be its own video. But I feel it's an important video to make, especially when lists like this exist. And I was inspired by Sean Evans' dad, of all people.
So my dad, who's literally never texted me about someone I'm interviewing ever, he wanted me to tell you that he thinks Captain America Winter Soldier is the best Marvel movie of all time, and I quote, "It advances character arcs, not just plot, and it functions in part as a political thriller with terrific fight scenes. It's a kick-ass superhero movie."
When he has a better opinion on Marvel movies than the entire Wired UK staff, you know you've done something wrong. Also, dear Wired UK, if you can't take responsibility for your own work, just don't post it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, drop a like on this video and consider subscribing. It helps me out a lot. If you want to learn how to create comedy from chaos, click the link on your screen, and if there's any other films or scenes you'd like me to break down in the future, leave a comment down below.